Rebekah was the daughter of Bethuel, nephew of Abraham, sister of Laban, wife of Isaac, and mother of Esau and Jacob. The name Rebekah, in Hebrew, means something close to rope thrown to tie small animals, according to an Arab root that meant firm. In Genesis chapter 24, we find the report of Rebekah's choice to be Isaac's wife, Abraham's son. The Bible says that Abraham sent his servant of trust to his homeland to seek a wife from his son Isaac. The servant of Abraham prayed to God, and upon arriving at the well outside the city, asked for a sign so that he could make the right choice according to God's will. Rebekah then approached and offered to remove water for her camels, and that was the signal given to the servant of Abraham. Rebekah was very beautiful, generous, and hospitable. The servant of Abraham gave him expensive gifts that he had taken with him on the trip, and was led by her to Bethuel's house. Arriving at the house, the servant of Abraham explained to everyone the reason of your visit. So those responsible for Rebekah agreed with the marriage, but let Rebekah do the final word would be accepted or not. If he accepted, Rebekah would have to leave his home, leave for a strange land, and marry a man he had never known. Rebekah had had the opportunity to choose, was a common practice only in upper-class patriarchal families. Finally, Rebekah agreed to leave her home and became Isaac's wife. The couple had a prosperous life in the Beerseba region. Some people seek to misuse chapter 24 of Genesis, especially verse 67, to try to defend the possibility of a couple living together without getting married. A simple reading of Genesis chapter 24 shows that such an interpretation is completely wrong. Basically, the servant that Abraham sent was his legal attorney in the mission, and at that time were common marriages arranged. In the description of chapter 24, Bethuel's son Laban is quoted before his father. This irregular sequence seems to indicate that Bethuel may be disabled. This confirms the fact that in verse 55 of the same chapter, only Laban and Rebekah's mother are cited. This raises the likelihood that his brother Laban responded as the family patriarch, who had religious and civil authority over his home. In front of Rebekah's family, the servant of Abram formalized the marriage proposal and delivered valuable gifts to Rebekah, his mother and his brother. In verse 58, we see Rebekah accepting the union, and finally, in verse 60, we see Rebekah being blessed by his family, probably by his brother, meaning the legal officialization of marriage within the molds of the time. Therefore, when Isaac took Rebekah to the tent, she was already officially his wife. After marriage, Rebekah was stereo for 20 years, and Isaac asked God to be changed. God heard Isaac's request, and Rebekah generated 2 twin children, Esau and Jacob. However, even before they were born, God had already talked about the divergent destinations of the twins. The Bible makes it clear that Rebekah had a greater preference for Jacob, while Isaac preferred the firstborn Esau. This favoritism demonstrated by parents resulted in the fragmentation of family unity. In the episode that Jacob supplanted Esau, achieving the patriarchal blessing, Rebekah was the one who planned such an action. After this act, Jacob left for Laban's house in Paddan Aram to escape the wrath of his brother Esau. Many interpreters believe Rebekah died before Jacob's return. After these events, the references we have about Rebekah is also cited in the New Testament. The only Neo-Testamentary reference about it is in Romans chapter 9, verses 10 to 12, where the Apostle Paul mentioned to the prophecy that Rebekah received before the birth of Esau and Jacob, in an exhibition on the sovereign election of God. Therefore, in the history of Rebekah, we can certainly realize God's sovereign actions. He is the one who controls all things, and his purposes are never frustrated.